Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes. Aquí tienen las instrucciones para el día de hoy. Hoy es lunes, el 18 de octubre. Espero que ustedes tuvieran un buenísimo descanso de otoño, las vacaciones de otoño. Y aquí tenemos el horario de hoy. First and foremost, as always, we're going to begin with your warm-up question. Warm-up question is asking about your vacation. ¿Qué hiciste durante el descanso? ¿Qué hiciste durante las vacaciones? So for today's warm-up, indicate 3 things that you did during the fall vacation. And even though we haven't gone over the present tense yet, or for that reason, because we haven't gone over the present tense yet, I want you to use el presente, the grammar that we looked at in quarter 1. If you take a look at page 9 of the textbook, just to jog your memory as we have been on a 2-week break. Here again you have the endings in the present tense for AR, ER, and IR verbs. O, as, a, amos, an are your present tense endings for AR verbs. O, es, hemos, en are your endings for ER verbs in the present tense. And IR verbs also share the same endings as ER verbs, with the exception of the nosotros form. Hemos for ER verbs, hemos for IR verbs. Undoubtedly, you're probably going to be using the yo form or the nosotros form to respond to this question. So even though it's referring to the past, haven't gotten there yet in the grammar, so use the present and indicate 3 things in the present tense that you did during the vacation. You have some examples there to go off of. We're going to go over, after your warm-up, the comprehension questions to the Dia de los Muertos PowerPoint. This was the activity that we did prior to going on fall break. Just want to debrief as you have a project for El Dia de los Muertos, going over the correct answers to the PowerPoint questions. And you want to make sure you have those submitted. Those were due before we left on break. Thereafter, we'll go over your project, your Dia de los Muertos Memorial Project. As we talked about before, your project is for you guys to select a member of your family or a friend network. So it would be a family member or a friend that you've lost and that you would like to celebrate their memory and their life during El Dia de los Muertos. Remember, in Hispanic culture, death is just a part of the life cycle. So it's not viewed as an end-all, but as a part of the cycle of life. And the Day of the Dead is a time for us to remember that and to keep alive the memories of those that are maybe not physically with us, but certainly with us spiritually, live on spiritually. So for this assignment, there are 2 parts. The first part is to create an ofrenda. An ofrenda, as we learned in our notes, is a memorial that families create for deceased family members, for family members that are with us in the land of the living. So to make your memorial, your ofrenda, my recommendation is just to use an empty package or an empty shoebox. You can turn it on its side and then decorate the interior with a blank canvas, construction paper, or printer paper, and then you're going to pick 5 items that remind you of that person. That's the main component to this assignment. What items do you think best symbolize the life and memory of the person that you've chosen? You can choose pictures, letters that you've addressed to that person or exchanged with that person, flowers, their favorite food or beverages, candles, and then a very popular option is personal memorabilia, items that remind you of that person, that invoke a memory that you shared. So that's going to be the physical aspect of the memorial. Again, 5 items, any combination of the aforementioned, that invoke memories or remind you of the person that you've chosen. The second component is a written component where you are to write a 5-sentence description about each of those items that you've chosen. Tell us the story. And this is in English, right? Tell us the story of the person that you've chosen through those 5 items. Now, I've included an introduction. You're welcome to do the same. You can type this. You can use note cards if you'd like. Note cards make it easy because you can just place the note cards right next to each of your 5 items in your ofrenda. But essentially tell the story and share with us your memories of the person that you've chosen to celebrate. Introduce them to us, and you can include a brief introduction as well if you'd like to. So that is your assignment, 2 parts. The actual physical ofrenda that you'll bring with you to school on the day that this is due. And the day that this is due for A days is November 1st, and for B days, November 2nd, the 2 days of El Día de los Muertos. So you have the physical component, the written component. You're going to bring both of those in on the due date, the aforementioned due date. If you're not comfortable with this assignment for religious reasons or personal reasons, the alternative would be to write a reflective essay. Same length, 5 paragraphs, right? You're going to have a 5-sentence description for each of the 5 items that you've chosen. If you're going to do the memorial, if you're not going to do the memorial, then you would write essentially the equivalent of that, 5 paragraphs that are 5 to 7 sentences long each. And you're basically going to reflect upon the who, what, when, where, why, and how you and your family celebrate or recognize the deceased in your family, in your religion, in your culture. With whom do you celebrate the deceased? How do you celebrate the deceased? Where do you celebrate? When do you celebrate? Why and how do you celebrate the dead? So that would be an alternative if you do not feel comfortable sharing or invoking those memories with the rest of class. You guys will bring this in on the due date, and then you'll put the items on top of your desk, and we'll do a gallery walk. And you'll be able to learn from and enjoy the memories or the memorials of your classmates. Let's see. So you guys are going to have some time in class to work on that. We'll go over the unit objectives for Chapter 1B. Chapter 1B is our new chapter that we're starting in Quarter 2. Chapter 1B, all about extracurriculars. Right? 1A was about your classes, what's allowed and not allowed in your classes, the things you bring to those classes, the things you would expect to find in the classroom. 1B is all about what you do after school. In terms of your extracurricular involvement, you have time thereafter to work on your homework, which is Quizlet. You have 3 activities to complete. Taking a look at the key vocabulary for Chapter 1B, and the activities are the flashcard, learn, and write practice activities. So click on that link. That'll take you to the vocabulary for Chapter 1B. Cycle through and go over all of the key vocabulary terms. A lot of them you're going to find are cognates, as we'll discuss together in class. Words that look like, sound like, and have the same meaning in English. That's the flashcard activity. Go through that, and then go through the learn and write activities, and then take screenshots once you're fully completed with each of those 3 activities. Again, that's flashcard, learn, and write. The first 3 learning activities, practice activities, complete those, take a screenshot, and upload those into Canvas. All right, everybody, that is your agenda for today. I hope you guys had a wonderful fall vacation. Happy to see everybody back. And bueno, nos vemos en clase. Hasta luego, muchachos. Chao.